at the Apex. He'll be coming up in about 40 seconds. So go.
I just want to talk about Kobayashi last night. Lost to Joey Chestnut in the hot dog eating competition. Beef that started 15 years ago. I was there. Kobayashi wore a free coat shirt to the event, got arrested for not understanding the language, and the next day in Times Square, when I had the world press on me for the riot, as I rode into town with this jersey and that message to change lives worldwide, as soon as Kobayashi walked out of jail, everybody put their cameras away. They drug the mask down on the van. Everybody drove to Brooklyn, and they wanted to Kobayashi come out of jail with his publicist, his PR firm. And I got beef with Kobe, 158 pounds. I'll fight him anywhere, anytime. I want my title back.
All right.
I want the belt.
How about dropping to 155?
I'll come down to it.
Come down to 155.
I will come down to it.
And we'll reach out to him.
Done.
You get down to 150. I ain't shaking your hand.
Shake my hand.
I don't want to touch
Pinky
you.
swear.
No.
Come on, dude. What do you guys do? How do you make it solid?
What do you mean, you guys?
Spit, blood brothers?
Making this personal now?
You want to cut nut? What do you do to cement the deal that is real?
Wait, I just wanted.
What I do is ignore you.
Is Steve on the line yet? I just wanted to show how aware Matt is. He is wearing the same shirt today.
It's brilliant.
Oh, you just said that?
He said that.
Oh, I didn't realize.
That's the
Well, you
talent.
can say it again.
That is ridiculous. This shirt. How
I'm
old
surprised
is
he
this
could still get into it.
2010.
2010. That's a 24-year-old shirt.
All right, let's go to the phone lines as we
15
get
for those
ready
that are
for
counting.
Saturday's
Carry the
UFC
3.
Fight Night 242.
Plus 1.
And welcome Steve Garcia. Steve, how are you?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Not too bad. We appreciate your time. Talk to us about Fight Week. It's just started. You're just starting to do your media obligations. What's Fight Week like for you?
Yeah, man. It's pretty booked throughout the week. You know, we get in like yesterday. Got in about I want to say like 2:30ish, maybe. I don't know, 3 o'clock here, I think. And yeah, from there we just do all the check-ins. We get all the bags. We do all that type of stuff. By the time we're done, it's about 5 o'clock. And then you know, me and my dad, depending on what's going on, we try to find a tea time. Couldn't find a tea time. We just went and walked around the outlet mall because I'm not from Vegas. So we went around, just shopped around and stuff, and then we hit a big workout this morning. And then you were my first media obligation, so I'm talking to you, my man.
Well,
and you got 2 or 3 more hours after this.
Well, I appreciate that, and I normally I save the giving till the end, but if you and your dad can come to the Tampa Bay area, we will hook you up with all sorts of cool stuff. But the main thing is, I will set up a tea time for you and your dad with Steve Monroe. Now, write it down to you his name. Google him, and I think you will want to come to town to play golf with this guy.
Dude, let's go. I'm all about it. Yeah, if you don't have my number, or you have my number,
Yeah.
you call me. Shoot me a message. You know what I mean? If Tampa will play, we'll set up a time, man. I'd love to do that. I love playing golf with anybody, really. But
We just
Well,
it's a good time.
You know, we'll do a lot of things, but when I say I golf with Steve, what I'm basically saying is I'm going to go sit in the car and watch Steve play golf. He's the former world long drive champ. He hits 380, 390 off his knees. He's a trick. He's everything. But just watching him play, and we'll all go play, but I'm saying watching him play is a true experience.
Yeah, man. These guys, they do the long drive contest, man. They sway, both ways, and they crush it, man. It's wild on how these guys freaking just hit the ball, man. He's gonna make me look terrible, but hey, bro, it's a round of golf. Let's freaking go.
well, so Steve, we just have to wait
I'm still trying to figure out the swing both way things, but I'll let that go.
Since we're in Florida, he's swinging. So Steve, we just have to wait for Governor DeSantis in Florida to clear out all the trees in the state park, and then we'll play that round of golf.
Yeah, man. Let's do it, man. And you could just hang out. Just hang out with us. Who cares? You know what? I'm sure you can still get the ball down the fairway.
Oh no, we'll definitely have a good time. Let's get back to talking about Fight Week, and I like to ask fighters this: are you the type of fighter where you don't want to think about Saturday until maybe Friday night, maybe Saturday morning, or do you want to you don't want to think about it? You know, it's going to come no matter whether you think about it. Does that put too much pressure on you thinking about the fight this early?
You really don't ever let off of thinking about your opponent. It's not even so much about fighting. You know, when you come to Fight Week, you're like, it's really happening. You're like, I really got to get into almost like this car accident of a situation. on Saturday, but I really focused in and like where I really have a lot of my energy towards the fight is when I'm working out. Like when I'm working out, when I cut weight and everything like that, like that's where I actually like start to visualize the fight. That's where I really just start channeling into the fight itself. Like right now, I'm in my room right now just because I just got done, working out and stuff, showered, and we got media obligations here in a bit. But I'm trying not to think about it, man. It's cool. I'm at the hotel. We can throw some Netflix. So I've been watching just a bunch of different random shows. I just fought 5 weeks ago, so I watched the whole like Receivers on Netflix. It was nice. It keeps your mind kind of busy and stuff. Cause man, dude, your mind will take you places, bro. So yeah, man. That's kind of more. That's where I'm at. I feel bad because like I have a wife that, especially in camp, that I think about my opponent more than I do her, and it wasn't the smartest thing to say. I just had to put into perspective because I train long, because of him, and I feel bad because it takes a lot from my family. So after this, man, I'm going on vacation. I'm gonna disappear for a minute, go spend some time with my family and my wife, and make up for some time.
Steve, one of the problems of being successful, you're in a 4-fight knockout streak. How much pressure are you going into this fight thinking, I have to knock this guy out because then I'll have the most knockouts, in the UFC at the moment in a row? I mean, do you feel like the success you've had these past 4 fights is almost giving you more pressure in this next fight?
I've never really felt the pressure of this one. I don't know why. I definitely felt a little bit of pressure on this one. But truly, man, like I just want to go out there and just put it on this guy. I mean, that's always how I always approach all my fights, and it definitely something I'd like to kind of continue to do. You know what I mean? I don't want to be these fighters that are like just barely winning by decision, man. That's not me. Unfortunately, sometimes I'll go out on my shield if I have to.
Right.
But it's man, like I'm gonna go out there and give it hell, bro, and he's on the other end of it. You know what I mean? If he can still, stand at the end of the fight, more to him, man, because I can take my hat off to him. But my majority of my focus into the training, and that's where if I'm gonna have energy, that's where I want it to go. Unfortunately, we live in this world of social media, so I need to step up my game. But as far as like the obligation part, like I don't mind it at all. You know what? I really don't. For the most part, everybody's respectful. I don't really have any issues. I've had a few people, like, in the past where you can tell they're very, very biased. And those are not the fun ones, As long as you're good with me, I'll be good with you. You know what I mean? But it's not a bad thing, usually.
It's funny how you said that because, social media started. I'm way too old. I'm way too a lot of other things to say publicly. And I'm like, I just don't care. Steve Lene team got involved, and in 6 months he has this over 34 million views on YouTube. So whether you might not want to do it, I don't want to do it. Just find somebody that's willing to do it for you and watch everything explode from that.
Yeah, man, I gotta find me some. What's his name, Steve? I gotta find me.
Yeah,
Steve Lene, I'll text you his number. You mentioned, and I saw this. You mentioned that you or so weeks ago. Were you able to enjoy anything? After a lot of fighters want to stay ready, but this is such a quick turnaround. Did you get to enjoy anything at all before you got back into training and to get ready?
I was able to eat a little bit of, food that I normally don't eat in camp. That's about it.
Like what?
It kind of sucked because I wasn't able to smell the roses in a sense. You know what I mean? Like after you win, like my camps are brutal. You know what I mean? So like after I win, I feel like there's like a 100-pound weight vest like lifted off me. And it was kind of short-lived. But man, like if you want to do great things around here, man, sometimes you gotta take opportunities like this, and you gotta make the most of it. And yeah, man, I'm going for it, brother. Like I'm here. I'm trying to do great things. I'm trying to do things that people don't typically do, and it's cool because like even the record thing with the knockouts, like I didn't have that in my mind. Like I never thought I'd be making knockout records in the UFC. Like that is insane to me. I mean, this organization has so many killers in it, and just to hold it is very, very cool.
Yep.
Ultimately, I'm just back on the grind, man. I'm back on the grind. I had to move my vacation that I had already planned after my last fight 1 week. So I was actually supposed to be in Coeur d'Alene today. Actually, I was supposed to be in Coeur d'Alene today, Idaho. And my wife's family has like a lake house up there, and we just fish off the dock, and we'll go play golf like a little bit later on, like noonish, and man, it's such a good time. But we moved it to next week, and it worked out.
I know we're almost at the top of the hour, but I'm curious, where is your fight camp? Where do you train out of?
I train in Albuquerque, Mexico.
Okay, so are you still with Greg?
Yeah, I'm with Greg and Wink.
Okay, so this worked out even better than I anticipated, and I got to talk real fast. So I'm going to call Matt the Mouth, because he likes to run off with the mouth. He loves to say stupid stuff that he really doesn't mean. He wants to go to a fight camp and literally get the crap beat out of him, and he feels that that's the responsible media thing to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to call Greg Jackson today, who is a very good friend of mine. I've stayed in his house, and we're going to set it up as you promised to beat the living crap out of Matt during some training.
I love it.
Hey, he has to sign a waiver first.
I'll deal.
He will.
I'll sign it, and we'll go to Dion's to get that Green Hats chili from Albuquerque because they do it the best.
We had Matt choked unconscious by Ben Saunders, and he thanked Ben for doing it.
Oh yeah, I love that stuff.
So yeah,
Oh man, I'm surprised you know Dion's, man. Dion's is awesome. Man.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of the places I got to enjoy after my last fight.
Nice.
But yeah, come on down, bro.
well,
We might need to get Usada in the room. Make sure you take no
Oh,
steroids.
I'm good. It's on pizza, baby.
Yeah.
I just do pizza naturally.
I will definitely set it up. It's good stuff. I have so much more to talk to you about.
Yeah.
We do something on Wednesdays called Victory Wednesday, so I want to get you back on after this victory this weekend. We'll get you back on Wednesday to talk more. I'm going to put you on hold. We need to get your address. I'm going to send you some gifts from 8 Man Strong and from Bucked Up Energy Drink. But you keep saying family. Who's in your family? What's your family?
Well, I mean, I have my wife. Her name's Mariah, and then I have my son. He's 4. Crazy little guy. His name's Tarek, legend. And then I have an autistic daughter. She's actually my stepdaughter, but she's her name's Haley, and she's 11 years old. That's like pretty much my life, man. Everyone that I just said right there is the reason why I fight.
The reason I asked for that, I asked for that is I thought you might have some children, so we're going to send some stuff from Fantasy Pets as well, for both of your children. And then I want to talk to you later. My daughter is a autistic therapist, taking care of autistic non-speaking children. So we're going to hook you up. We're at the top of the hour. Don't go anywhere. We're going to put you on hold, Steve.
Okay.
Oh, that guy's awesome.
Yeah.
That guy's so cool. It's the first time I talked to him.
Yeah, I got a fight camp and I got a fight.
And you got a date at
I got pizza. Dion. Green Hats chili with pepperoni on the pizza. Fire.
I might set this up.
Okay. I just need sponsorship.
Well, you said you need to get money for a
Somebody,
fight.
well, somebody got to pay for it. I mean, company, somebody.
And go get
Dana,
somebody.
call Dana.
I'm not going to do it for you.
I'll help him.
This one laying back here?
Yeah.
Oh, is it
No, it's pointed over there.
towards that one? Just try to keep it out this way more. I don't want it close like it was before for that.
I don't know how it's supposed
It's good. Don't worry about it.
It doesn't say.
Don't worry about it. Next time, next break, I'll come in and do it.
Hey, this is James Brown from Sporting News Radio, and your team sports with Randy Harris.
Okay, don't
Eight
worry
Man
about
Strong
it.
is not simply
How's
about
that?
the biggest
That's great,
or
yeah.
strongest.
Yes.
It's about those
No,
who
it
have
is.
survived true
It's
lows.
too close, but I'm gonna get
real are
aboard.
in there and are
next break.
fighting to
How
have
many
that
minutes we got on
together.
this one?
If you live with a passion for greatness and strength, resilience towards all
But we haven't
obstacles
even
that may
started the
attempt to
break.
derail you,
Oh,
if
really?
you're bold and
So we still got 3
aggressive
minutes?
at the things you want in life, if you are meant to overcome everything that stands in your path of reaching goals, then you
The
are
news hasn't started.
8 Man
Oh,
Strong.
right.
It's the top of the hour.
Really?
It's the 3
Looking
minutes.
for work, but nobody is hiring? Staff Zone is. As the
I
leading
want
provider of
pizza.
commercial construction,
Alright.
industrial, and
Pizza.
special event
I'm
staffing
really in the mood
throughout
for
the
pizza.
Southeast and Texas, plenty of work to go around.
Certain times I
and
get
they
the itch to
need you
make it,
now.
and then I just like.
Don't
fuck
wait.
it. I'm
Go
not
now
doing
to
it. Was seeing the GFS guy today. I was like, well,
www.thestaffzone.com
maybe
and find the
maybe
branch
the sign.
closest to you. Work
Just to
today,
go get some
get paid
product.
today. That's the
I want
Staff
to.
Zone way.
Do you have an oven in your house?
WTAN, Clearwater,
Your
FM
backyard type thing?
106.1.
WDCF,
Or
Big
another nice
City.
one?
I have a nicer kitchen in my backyard than restaurants do. I got an 11-foot prep table. I got
Maybe
a.
I will
Stacy
leave it to
Lynn.
you after-
Kids
I
just
got
returned
a
to school
commercial
in
mixer
Winder,
in the
Georgia.
backyard.
A
Got
tragedy
the,
today.
my patio.
Class and
Got a freezer back
we
there.
heard
Got
shots.
all the.
Four people are dead after a shooter started firing.
All that shit.
Barrow County Sheriff
My
Judd
backyard
Smith
pizza
says
is in the regular
suspect
restaurant.
is in
The
custody.
food still
We have
sucks,
multiple
but the
injuries.
equipment's good.
This is a very, very fluid investigation. It's very early.
At least 9 people were taken to local hospitals. It is every parent's worst
probably should get
nightmare.
out of here.
Here's
I don't wanna be
CBS's
in the middle of
Alice.
The
We're
mother
gonna
of
go
one of
till
about
3:15
1,900
next day.
students at the school tearfully nearly
Right
jogged to
here
get there
for
as she
us.
described what she
Green
felt after
Right.
hearing about the shooting.
All right.
And I just dropped
All right,
It's
everything.
still-
Just got
Well,
in the
let me
car
know
and
if
I
you want to play
left.
pickleball or
Worried
not
students like this one
not
gathered in the
even
school's
Wednesday. We're
Don't
gonna
tell
play
Randy how good I
I
am.
was like a little scared.
Play
I
tomorrow,
was trying to
man.
make sure my friends were
Just
okay.
tell Randy how
because
good I
heard
am.
they got
Wait
shot.
till I get
In a
back in shape.
statement, President
Let 'em know
Biden
what
said
happened.
what
I'll play.
should have been a joyous back-to-school season now has turned into another horrific
Gotta come to
reminder of
Tampa,
how
though.
gun violence
Get a
can
pen
tear
for
our
Steve.
communities
I wanna give him
apart.
the-
Oh,
yeah.
The U.S. has
I
accused
know, I don't want
Russia
your
of
pen. I
interfering
don't
with the
collect
November
books, but-
election.
Just give me a Sharpie.
Attorney
I'll give
General
a Sharpie.
Merrick Garland.
I
The
wanna leave
Justice
it- leave it,
Department is seizing 32 internet
Inspiration for your
domains
career.
that
Maybe
the
you'll be a
Russian
legend one day.
government and the Russian-sponsored actors have used to engage
Just
in a
save it.
covert campaign
Now,
to
you may
interfere
need that one day.
What, this
and
magazine?
influence
I can't read.
the outcome
Words are hard.
of
Math
our
is harder.
country's elections.
Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger speaking out on what he
Sit.
calls the
Sit.
Later,
sacred
bro.
right to
Okay.
vote.
I'll
I'm
text you
proud of
tomorrow
our
if you want to
founders
play
and their
tomorrow.
wisdom.
I do.
I think about
Yeah, that was cool.
Washington, Jefferson, Madison. I think we honor them and make sure that only American citizens can vote.
More
Well,
families
right
are
now you gotta
struggling
get a
to put
sponsor
enough
for this
food
radio
on
show.
the table.
That's according to the latest annual report from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Joel Berg is CEO of an organization called Hunger Free America.
We're the only industrialized Western nation on the planet that has this level of hunger. And it's not because Americans aren't generous enough, it's because our public policies are failing.
The USDA report found that 47 Americans live in homes that can't afford enough food. That's up 40% from 2021. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
Now to the war in Gaza. Tammy McCormick on a polio vaccination program.
500 teams deployed across Gaza this week to sign yet that the ceasefire talks are progressing, despite pressure from the U.S.
We are seeing red on Wall Street this hour. The Dow is down 69 points. This is CBS News.
That's Randy's urn. Say
Think
that.
O'Reilly
Don't
Auto
lose it.
Parts
We're
for
gonna
all
put on the
your car
headstand
care
with the
needs.
belt.
Get
So
the
it'll be like
parts
an
and
urn,
service
and
you
it'll be
need
like a
fast
belt.
from the parts
He's a
people
legend.
at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Not only is he in the Hall of Fame, he's a legend.
That belt.
Entertaining and informative radio for the Sunshine
Put it
State.
right where it is.
Hi, this is
Put it
Jeff
right
Jones,
where it is.
and you're talking sports with
I'll
Randy
go,
Harris.
David, don't worry.
We're back.
Oh, I was waiting for the music. You have to sing me in. If he doesn't run the music, you gotta sing something.
I write the songs that make the whole world
All right, we are back coming to you live from Cool Breeze AC Broadcast Facility. This is Knock Video, brought to you by 8 Man Strong, Staff Zone, and Bucked Up Energy Drink. How cool was Steve?
Oh, Steve, he's a great guy, man. Really, it's just really simple to talk to, easy to talk to. He had great insight, great attitude, and good sense of humor, man. What can't get anything more? And he's a great fighter.
Well, you know, I typically don't listen to anything Matt says. And even though I think my camp thing is stupid, and, you know, you want to go for a day. I know you've done a bunch of that stuff, you know, back in the day. I get all that. But I might have to call Greg. I went out there. I stayed at Greg's house. I think it was 2 nights. You know, went to the gym, and then I kind of like drove around. Absolutely nothing. Couldn't really find
So you had a pretty
typical
Albuquerque experience, yes.
You know, went downtown, and it looked like a lot of Indian shops and turquoise stuff, and you know, it was cool. But you know, I wanted to really I didn't want to train necessarily and the likes, but I would have wanted to do something, you know. But he was so busy taking care of his fighters. So maybe with Steve, maybe we will set something up, and anything I can get to beat the crap out of Matt, I'm willing to do.
Well, that was fun. I mean, I could definitely see. You know, he's kind of a good sport when it comes to things like that.
Well, he's kind of an idiot too.
Yeah, that too. But
Okay.
He's our idiot, though.
We've tried for him not to be, but you know, we can't get rid of him. Until now, he had to go pick up his girls. So very cool. So coming up, Andre also fights as we have the UFC fighters on the week that they fight. We really should get some fighters that fought a couple weeks ago or fight in a couple weeks, but it's always good to get fighters on the week of. You know, their fight mind fights. You know, in their front of their mind, not in the back of their mind. You know, so that is the way we're going to do it. We are continuing to talk about the NFL Survivor League that we're doing with Ken Shamrock, and he is huge into football. You know, he loves it. You could tell that, you know, when he was on and we talked about it, and I'm looking forward to seeing how far he goes.
Well, I'm looking forward to see how far I'm going to go
Yeah.
because I've never done a survivor pool in NFL. and I'm excited about it.
Well, what I think a mistake that happens, and I've fallen into this a few times myself, I'm so concerned about 3 weeks from now that I don't look at 2 weeks from now. You know, I went with what I'm thinking is the safe pick right now, but like next week, don't think necessarily about week 4, think about week 2, but you do have to think about week 4, because come week 4, week 5, you may not have any of those picks left of a shoe.
Right.
Now it's a crapshoot, and you know, will they win? Are they going to have a problem? Quarterback go down? You know, and like I said, that's why I didn't take Cincinnati over New England. I want Cincinnati against a better team.
Right.
If New Orleans gets by Carolina, I may take whoever New England's playing next week. Could be the Jets. Could I don't know, but Cincinnati, I want Cincinnati if they're playing a Buffalo, a Kansas City, you know, whatever, because you can take. And for those people that didn't think about this, if New Orleans beats Carolina, you can still play Carolina. You know, down the road, Carolina's not out of play, just New Orleans. Now, you would never take Carolina, is what I'm saying. New England might get off on a roll. Rookie quarterback may come in. They might be doing well. You might be able to take a New England against a lesser, you know. So we'll continue talking about the NFL picks with Ken Shamrock. Throughout the show, throughout the weeks. We will be doing that every Wednesday. Right now, we continue talking about this weekend's UFC Fight Night 242. It's been a little while, but let's welcome my fellow City of Brotherly Love, Andre Petroski. How are you?
Thanks for having me, guys.
We appreciate it. You know, it seems like yesterday you were on The Ultimate Fighter, but does it seem like just yesterday to you, or does it seem like it's been a long time since being on Tough?
No, honestly, it hasn't seemed like, I think it's been 3 years.
Right.
And it doesn't seem like that at all, but, you know, this is my 9th UFC fight, so, you know, obviously it's been a while, we've been busy, but good. It's been my life's been totally changed from the UFC, and fighting has given me such a great life.
What's it like walking around our cities? You know, Matt gives me a hard time. I was only born in Philly and stationed there. I didn't live there other than those 2 times. What's it like walking a white city like Philadelphia, you know, getting more known, getting popular, now the UFC that's been, you know, on your name for 3 years? What's that like walking around that city of Philadelphia like that?
It's cool. Like, it's good. Like, me and my family just moved to, like, a new area in Jersey. Like everyone in the neighborhood, like we're meeting new people in the neighborhood, and they're all like, dude, I had a watch party for your feet. Like, I'm a big fan, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's so cool. You know, and they're like, oh, I'm having a pool party tomorrow. Like, bring your kids over. Like, it is cool. There is a lot of to it. So we're very lucky.
What's the drawbacks? Again, just being recognized and talked in at the wrong times?
Yeah, and then, like, you feel like a douchebag saying that, but like there are some times where it's like it does get old, and people like sometimes will ask like ignorant questions, like they'll be like, "Are you gonna win?" Like, no, I'm going out there to lose.
Right. You know, it's funny.
Overall, it's good.
I always tell this. I told it last week on the show. Matt Serra told me whenever he loses, that's when everybody comes out of the woodwork and says. He said, I can go down to the Dunkin' Donuts and get a cup of coffee. And the guy at Dunkin' Donuts says, you know what you did wrong? Because then I go to the gas station, and the gas station, hey, you did wrong in that fight. And it just cracks me up how everybody's a Monday morning fighter as well as a Monday morning quarterback. But they love to talk to you guys because I think you guys UFC fighters are more accessible because you guys are more down to earth. I think you guys you're in communities where a football NFL star is not going to live with amongst the proletariat. You know what I mean? And I think that's
I think fighters are much more down to earth.
Yeah.
Most of us, not that a lot of football players haven't come from humble beginnings, but I mean the majority of the UFC fighters or the fighters in the UFC do not come from wealthy, areas or lifestyles. We understand. We've been through the humble and the struggle, and we were broke at one point, so I think it makes us a little bit more down to earth and easier to talk to.
I agree 100%. I don't know if you saw the story when Lake Mary won the Little League World Series a couple weeks ago up there in Pennsylvania, and the New York team, which was from the Bronx, went very public and was criticizing the New York Yankees and criticizing Aaron Judge because he wouldn't turn and wave to his team while he was on the on-deck circle getting ready to go up and hit.
Yeah, I mean, there's two sides to that for sure. I mean, maybe the guy's just focused on what he's doing, one, but I do think that, like, it's important to, like, to support, like, the up-and-comers, you know what I mean?
No, for sure.
When the peak, like, don't forget the people that supported you, you know?
No, 100%, and I agree with you. And I've even said this about at some UFC fights. You know, fans, you know, stick, you know, magazines or whatever out asking you to sign autographs on the way to the cage. I mean, at least wait. And I've seen fighters sign after fight, but on the way to a fight, it's just common sense. And you know, you've got a job to do. Let them do their job, and then let's, you know, do all the other things that are involved.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that you can't. I wouldn't think it would be smart to ask on the way to the fight. You know?
Well, that's the Mr. T thing, the Mr. T in Rocky reaches out and like yells at him as he's walking to the fight with Rocky. And Mr. T shoves him back into.
Hey, Andre, how tough was it to fight up in Colorado as far as the altitude, and there's no air up there, and you know your last fight you had a lot of wrestling in there, and you must have a lot of out of you.
Yeah, so we spent 2 weeks out there. We went to the bottom of Pike Peak, which is more so Colorado Springs, and we spent 9 to 10 days there. We hiked we did the Mansaw Incline, so we did a lot of working out at elevation even higher than Denver, so that when it was time to go back to Denver, we had already been like acclimated to 8 days, and 5 didn't seem so much.
Nice.
And I think that was very beneficial for me, at least.
And was that your coaches that put that plan, or do you have how involved are you when it comes to the game plan that your coaches come up with?
Yeah, so my manager was the one that suggested that, you know, make sure you get out there 2 weeks early and get acclimated. And then with that information, you know, me and my coach sat down and found the Airbnb that would be best, which would be Colorado Springs, which would be the best area for us to do this 10 days of acclimating before we go to Denver.
Right. And you know, just around the subject, how unsung are the people around fighters? You know, we always hear about the famous trainers like Greg Jackson, Oz, you know, John Danaher, but you know, we don't hear about every single solitary trainer there is in amongst UFC fighters. How unsung are the people that work with fighters all the time?
It's an individual sport, and it's a very lonely sport, and you know, when that cage door closes, you're the only one in there. It's a very individual sport, but like we can't get to where we can without a team behind us. Like there's so much that's done behind the scenes that like I can't do. Like I can't be the coach. I can't watch all the film, break it down, come up with a game plan, do all the logistics, and the fighter. Like I need help.
Wow.
You know, they're hugely beneficial.
Let's move it to Saturday night, Fight Night 2. I ask fighters this a lot. You've fought in the Apex, obviously. How different is it to fight in the Apex over fighting in an arena? And do you need to do air different, get ready different, because it is different fighting in the Apex?
Yeah, it's definitely different. The fans, they can give a bolt of energy late in the fight. The cheers help for sure, but I fought in the Apex. This is probably my 6th or 7th fight in the Apex between the Ultimate Fighter and the UFC. So I'm very comfortable there, and I'm used to it. And it's you know, we know exactly where the warm-up room is. We know where the bathroom is. We know the layout perfectly, and we're well prepared.
Does it give the, you know, I judge here in the state of Florida, you know, it's in a small building. Does it give that old-time, smaller show kind of feeling? You know, it's not 42,000, you know, it's, you know, you can almost hear somebody talk kind of thing, which I like. Does it feel that way?
I think the facility's pretty state-of-the-art,
yeah.
but it is, you know, when you can hear the other coaches yelling, it is interesting.
Andre, how's it like being you're a new father, right?
Yeah, well, I got 3 kids, so as in I got a baby at home.
Right. So how has that changed? You know, this fight came for you.
Yeah. So, you know, sleep is important for any professional athlete, really.
And babies.
So you got to find ways. You know, you got to find ways to compensate for having a baby up all night. So. But you know, like I said, it's not my first time around. My daughter's 5. So I've been through it early in my career, and you just learn from you learn what's more efficient, what's more. Yeah, you become a better parent, honestly. Better parent, better father.
Talk to us a little bit about your opponent, your thoughts. Do you worry about what he does, or is it more important what you're going to do?
I think the time. Spend the beginning of camp. So if it's an 8-week camp, you spend the first couple weeks focusing on the things that he does. You watch a lot of film on what he does, what his habits are, all those, and then you build a game plan kind of considering those factors. But once you get later and closer to the fight, it's all about what you do. For me, it's all about doing what I do best.
Awesome. Great stuff. How old are your other child? You told us 2.
Yeah, so I have a stepdaughter that's 7. My daughter's 5, and then my 3 months.
Okay, perfect. I always like to give thank you gifts. So we are going to send you, as always, the 8-Man Strong box, a box from Buck Drink. But I've also come across a new sponsor. It's called Fantasy Pets, and they make pets out of printers, 3D printing. They're pretty cool. And so I want to send you 3 of those as well. And so each one of your children's going to have a gift coming as well.
That's awesome. I really appreciate that.
Appreciate your time. Have fun. It's Christmas morning, Saturday, and just as you've always done, and enjoy Saturday.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Take care. This is Andre Petroski, fighting this Saturday. I was excited that I love giving the children this.
Yeah.
You know, as you may or may not know, I've been always giving guests something. My way to thanking them. They don't have to do this. And I think it's just a nice gesture. And then when I ran across Fantasy Pets, I get kind of tongue-tied because to me it's so exciting to give a child something like this as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And like he said, he's at fight camp, then he's got to go fight. So he's away from his family for a long time. And at least having something to show for it, you know, even if it comes from Knockout Radio, say, hey, you know, Daddy was still thinking about you while I was away. And it goes a long way when you're a kid.
No.
So thank you for that. As a father myself, I think that's really cool of you to do.
It's cool. I mean, I learned it from something, and I know we need to hit this break, but so I used to be involved with the Marty Lyons Foundation, okay? And the Marty Lyons Foundation, we granted wishes for terminally ill children. A little different than a lot of the other organizations in that we didn't publicize. And I get if you publicize, you get sponsorship, but Marty was big on not publicizing, so we didn't publicize at all. And I remember a child came up to me. We were doing something for their sibling. I don't remember male or female. And this child, probably 7 or 8, said something to the effect of, "I wish I was dying."
Wow.
And I mean, it still kills me. And this was 40-some years ago, 30-some years ago. And now put yourself in that child's, who's 7, and their 5-year-old or 9-year-old or whatever sibling is getting all this attention for the wrong reason, for the right reason, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
And when that child said, I'm getting goosebumps right now reliving that. It was crushing.
Yeah, that is crushing.
And so now that I'm able to, I've always looked for something to give the children as well, because I think it's cool. It doesn't have to say that it's from us or Knockout Radio or whatever. Hey, Daddy did this and look what I got for you. I'm cool. I think it's cool to do some really neat things for not only the fighters. We gave Mike Perry's wife something because I had a sponsor for it's just whatever we're able to gather during the time. So yeah, I get a little excited when I'm able to give some cool stuff to these children. So all right, let's go hit a break. We will continue. Third UFC fighter coming up at the bottom of the hour, Brendon Marotte. Right now, this is Knockout Radio, brought to you by 8-Man Strong, Staff Zone, and Bucked Up Energy Drink. We'll be right back.
I love when this last hour flies.
What?
I love when the last hour flies.
Yeah.
This is Carlton Fisk, talking sports with Randy Harris. What are you guys listening for? You crazy or goofy or something?
Got bills? Looking for work, but nobody is hiring? Staff Zone is. As the leading provider of commercial construction, industrial, and special event staffing throughout the Southeast and Texas, Staff Zone has plenty of work to go around, and they need you now. Don't wait. Go now to www.thestaffzone.com and find a branch closest to you.
Garcia?
Work today, get paid today. That's the Staff Zone way.
We did.
Do you have a sinkhole problem? Call APD Foundation Repair. Do you have cracks in your walls?
Oh no, he has.
Call
He's got the
APD
two
Foundation
daughters.
Repair. Water pooling in your
He's got a
yard?
4-year-old.
Call
No,
APD
he's got the-
Foundation
Andre
Repair.
had
This
three.
is Randy Harris, and I'm so glad I made the call to APD Foundation Repair at
Steve had the
352-200-9740.
5-month-old son who's just
APD
he's got a
Foundation
5-year-old
Repair
daughter
services the
and a
entire
7-year-old
state of
daughter.
Florida.
I
It
thought
provides
that's what
free
Andre just
inspections
said that.
and estimates. With the A+ Better Business Bureau rating, it's a no-brainer. Give APD Foundation Repair a call today.
You're talking
at
about Steve Garcia.
352-200-9740.
You're hungry. Where do you go to eat? Berg's Sports Bar and Grill. You want to have a drink? Where do you go? Berg's Sports Bar and Having a get-together with the guys from the softball team? Where do you do it? That's right, Berg's Sports Bar and Grill. Located at 1320 Central Avenue, St. Petersburg, right across from Tropic Field. Berg's is the best place to take the whole family for food and fun. Going to a Rays game? Have dinner before the game at Berg's, and after the Rays win, come and celebrate with all your friends at Berg's. Right across from
I don't
the
have
Rock. So come down and see
phone
Berg
to
and the whole
figure out
gang at
what's this
Berg's
guy's
Sports
name.
Bar and Grill. Berg's Sports Bar and
Brendon
Grill.
Marotte.
Does your garage door opener seem to have a mind of its own? Or is it a
Brendon.
squeaky or noisy
M-A-R-O-T-T-E.
doors?
Brendon.
Sounds like they need a simple tune-up. Call Morris Boulevard
Marotte.
Garage. That's M-O-R-S-E Boulevard Garage Doors. 727-522-5070. I'm so glad they fixed my garage door
So
correctly.
you want
on
to
the
spell
very
it out?
first visit.
Brendon
Morris Boulevard
Marotte.
Garage Doors offers 24/7
M-A-R-O-T-T-E.
service and no extra charge for nights or weekend emergency
B-R-E-N-D-O-N.
calls. Repair or replace your garage door.
M-A-R-O-T-T.
Morris Boulevard Garage Doors. Call them today at 727-522-5070.
Roasted Whisk Gift Box Company is an on-specialty gift box company specializing in corporate gifting, creating a fun and unique gifting experience for your clients, vendors, or employees. Gift boxes could include coffees or teas, mugs, espresso-infused baked goods, scented candles, and many more options. Check us out at roastedwhisk.com. Roasted Whisk on all social platforms.
8-Man is not simply about the biggest or strongest. It's about those who have survived true lows, suffered, faced demons real or in their heads, and are fighting to come back against it all. If you live with a passion for greatness and strength and resilience towards all obstacles that may attempt to kill you, if you're bold and aggressive in the pursuit of the things you want in life, if you are meant to overcome everything that stands in your path of reaching your goals, then you are 8-Man.
Hey, this is David Bell from the Phillies, and you're talking sports with Randy Harris.
Rocky Balboa, Sylvester Stallone might be at BKFC Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's great news. Yeah, what a great show for Dave Feldman and for the BKFC fighters. I think that if Rocky shows up, and then of course, if he gets Eddie Alvarez on the card, I mean, he's the Philadelphia Underground King. That would be amazing. What a great card would be.
Well, Eddie's fought BKFC.
No, but I mean,
But in Philly.
In a
No.
long time. Last time he fought in Philly, gee, I can't even remember.
Well, definitely before. I don't think he fought UFC.
I don't
in
think
Philly.
he fought in Philly.
Philly
No,
was there at least twice
yeah.
that I remember.
I remember the local promotion after he came out of Dream in Japan. He fought in Philly.
Is my mic on?
Yeah, that's a great question to ask.
Yeah.
Okay, well, very good. I can't tell if it's on or not. But so BKFC, David Flint said that Rocky Balboa might be there.
He said might be.
Now, he said he might be, right?
Yep.
Now, we have, I want to tell the people out there in Radio Land and YouTube land, everything like that, that we have, Knockout Radio, we have a community messaging back and forth to each other. And I put this in our messaging about a week ago, because I had inside information. And I don't know if you could drop it ahead of time or whatever, but I'm just saying, I had that information a week ago, son.
Did you?
Yeah, it's in there. It's written in there. I can't go back and reproduce it and put it ahead of everything.
Well, first of all, you can't release if you found that out, it could have been like off the record. Like I didn't know that.
Right.
And I have a direct line to the president. So I didn't know that.
Who says that you're the only one that has a direct line?
I'm not.
Maybe there's a certain BKFC fighter that calls me on the phone.
Oh. I see, said the blind man.
I believe Steve has a friend that used to be a BKFC fighter that calls him on the phone.
Wow. Man, people go through in and out? Oh, okay. I thought once you're just like a Marine.
No,
yeah.
It's only Marines. Marines are the only one that always,
Okay.
everybody else is, former.
So I'm just saying, you think that your cameraman is a peon, or your limo guy's a peon, and then, or whatever else, the other hats are.
Keep talking. We got
Okay. Well, I'm
8 minutes.
I'm just letting you know that this person talking right now is bigger than you think. I'm just letting you know.
That you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might have to meet you then.
Okay. Very good. So what's the card this week on UFC?
Well, I can tell Andre's fighting. I don't know which one's yours.
Okay.
God, keep talking.
No.
No, so that's not you.
No.
Oh, you'll be this one. That's the one. You'll turn you off. Do you have the rest of the card in front of you?
Yeah. Main card is Gilbert Burns versus Sean Brady. Then we have Jessica Andrade versus Natalia Silva. Steve Garcia versus Kyle. Matt Schnell is taking on Cody Durden. Trevor Peak versus Yanel Ashmos. Rong Zhu versus Chris Padilla. Ryan Spann versus OSP. Isaac Dulgarian takes on Brendon Marotte. And Felipe Dos Santos, Andre Lima. Yi Za versus Gabriel Santos. Jacqueline Amin versus Vanessa Demopoulos. Andre Petroski versus Dylan Budka. And then it's Nathan Fletcher takes on Zygmantas Ramaska of Lithuania.
I like it.
Yeah, there's a lot of fights for a TV show. It's an ESPN Plus card.
Right. Next week's the big Sphere card.
Yep. Next week is the most anticipated UFC event in a long time, not because of who's fighting, but because of the production that Dana's been talking about for months now. So hopefully it delivers. Now, I'm not so sure if the Sphere production value, what the Sphere is offering is this in person, like if you're in there.
We'll get back to talking about next week.
Yep.
Let's finish our third and final interview of today, getting ready for this weekend's UFC, and then we can move ahead to next. Once again, UFC Fight Night 242. Let's welcome to the program Brendon Marotte. Brendon, how are you?
Good, man. How you doing today?
Not too bad. We appreciate your time. Like UFC Fight was your first, and I'm curious, as this is the of your second fight week for the UFC, does it feel different? Do you have different feelings, different emotions as you get ready for this fight?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. My first fight in the UFC was on 4 days' notice. I flew from New England, where I live, up to New Hampshire, all the way to Vegas, did all the medicals, jumped up a weight class, but still had a crash cut like 13 pounds in 4 or 5 days against a guy who had 6 fights in the UFC already, and one of them was a record knockout. So this is completely different. I had time to actually have a camp. I had time. I've been spending most of my time here. I've been living here in Vegas, training at Syndicate MMA.
Yep.
And yeah, back at my weight class, 145. So it's been a whirlwind of a difference, all for the better.
As a short, fat, old guy, I don't want this to sound wrong. Were you able to enjoy the process? I mean, your work, it's your job. I mean, so it's not necessarily quote unquote fun, but all of you fighters, there's something wrong, and you all think it's fun to go in there and fight each other. Were you able to enjoy that with all of that process of taking on a shortest fight?
Just like you said, it's a job at the end of the day, but we wouldn't be doing this job if we didn't love something about it. I personally love fist fight. I force myself to get up and train and to eat good, but the part that a lot of people are nervous about, a lot of guys are athletes and they're nervous about the fight. Obviously, I get nervous, but I enjoy it. I look forward to it. Just having a full camp and time instead of 4 days, having 8 weeks, I got to enjoy all the fun stuff, gradually cutting weight, doing the interviews, and just watching the camp excel and get better at what we're working at. So mentally, it's been a lot.
Brendon, do you know much about Isaac Dogarian and his fight history? I'm sure you've done work, you've done tape work and seen his fights, but have you heard much about him? Have you watched him during his career?
Yeah, I like to study my opponents pretty extensively. See what they do, what they don't do, if they flinch, simple stuff. But once I study it extensively, I'm like, all right, I don't overanalyze it, and I understand I still have to fight my style and what I do, but adjust things according to them. But if I'm speaking truly from the heart, I've always spoken about my opponent. I've said, hey, this one's gonna go 3 rounds. This one I'll clip him here. This guy, he might get me here, and I've been pretty accurate. Well, honest, what I'm saying, he doesn't have the experience that I have. I have almost double his fights, and I'm a lot bigger of a fighter, and I'm the better, well-rounded. I respect his wrestling, but it's college-style wrestling. Once he hits the takedown, you're not going to control me. I'm going to get back up, and like I'm just more well-rounded. I'm going to clip him anywhere. I'm far advanced on the feet, but I respect him. I respect what he brings to the table. But that night worked for me 100%, and I'm going to be happy to give him his first TKO KO love.
Let me ask you this. You said that you were pretty accurate with that. How pretty accurate could you be with the lottery numbers?
What's up?
I said, how accurate could you be on the lottery numbers? I could use some of those.
So that's the thing, is that the predictions are only good for the fighting. It's not working.
Okay. How will you handle the next couple days? I always ask the fighters, because there's 2 ways to look at it. You're so focused, you're thinking about the fight. It's kind of that Rocky Balboa thing with the picture on the mirror. Or do you not want to think about it Friday night, Saturday morning?
No, I love thinking about it. I replayed the fight in my head probably 1,000 times there, and I'll do 1,000 more times in that one fight week. I enjoy it. I enjoy the butterflies you get in your stomach, the nerves. Like I said, everyone gets nerves, but they're not fear nerves for me. They're happy. They're exciting. I'm doing something that 1% of the population can do or even has what it takes to do. So I enjoy it. I bask in it as much as I can. I take everything in, and I love it. I love fight week. It's great. Besides the dieting, which isn't fun, only cutting weight, but mentally, I love it. I can't wait. It's like being a little kid for Christmas. I can't wait for that day.
Well, and it's funny that you say that, because that's what I always end with. Enjoy the process. It's Christmas morning on Saturday, because I've been told by a good friend of mine, Eve Edwards, long-time, older UFC fighter, he goes, the work is everything we did up until we get to the fight area, whether it's wherever. Now it's your reward. Your reward is this week, and Christmas is on Saturday.
100%. I agree with that. We go a whole camp putting in the work, stressing, training. Fight week is just about dieting, cutting that weight, which sucks. But forget the rest. The work's been done. As long as you put the work in, you get to enjoy the fruits of your labor on the weekend. And no amount of stress is going to help you. No amount of fear is going to help you. So stay positive, and try not to stress out. A great old quote is, you suffer more in your mind than you do in reality. If all goes right in that cage or in the middle or whatever, unless you kill the fight, there's a little bit of suffering, whether it's your cardio, it's damage. So don't suck before you get there. That's the mindset I try to do.
I like it.
Brendon, one thing you said, I really appreciate your take on it, that collegiate wrestling is different than MMA wrestling. Can you just elaborate on that?
Yeah, collegiate wrestling, these guys are really good at entering shots and hitting the initial takedown, but once someone's back hits the mat, in wrestling, it's over. There's no weird position to get stuck in. The scrambles, get up, they scramble. They're just trying to hit that takedown. And when you go into MMA, it's not just the takedown. It's the way we take people down and defend. If you don't hit the takedown off the rip, we're scrambling. And if you put my back or my shoulders on the mat, it's not over.
Right.
I can sweep you. I can start wrapping you up. I can start elbowing you in the face, pulling your head down. It's just a whole different beast. So it's really good in MMA for hitting the takedown. After that, MMA wrestling's a whole different sport.
What's the story behind the nickname The Kid?
It was kind of a family name. And I know people are like, oh, is that because like it's kind of been like a famous fight name of fighters, boxers back in the day? No, I was the first grandson and the only grandson for like, I want to say like 9 years or whatever, and I had a bunch of girl cousins. And so whenever my uncles came around, I have a huge family. They're always like, oh, where's the kid at? Where's the kid? Knowing that it's where's Brendon. So it was kind of just a family name that stuck. And my father called me kid all the time, and it kind of just, that's where it came from. It just flew into fighting.
Very, very cool. What can the fans expect to see when you get in the octagon on Saturday?
Oh man, as always, I promise a show of excitement, and you will be entertained no matter what. As a fighter first and an athlete second, I understand this is the entertainment business. I don't want to win by points. I don't want to win by laying praying, because at the end of the day, what pays the bills is the fans. And if they're not watching something exciting, why the hell would they pay any pay-per-view, ESPN Plus, or any of that bullcrap?
Right.
So excitement, that's what I want to give. No matter if it's on the feet or on the ground, I'm going for the finish at all times. But ideally, I can tell you that I'm confident in myself. This ends with me clipping him on the feet, and he's going to drop. He can't handle the power or the speed I have or the striking capabilities I have.
Good stuff. Brendon, thank you very much for your time. I know we have your address. We're going to send you a care package from 8 Man Strong, as well as a box from Bucked Up Energy Drink as well.
I love it, man. Thank you so much, and thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it very much.
Absolutely. Like I said, enjoy the week, enjoy the process. Christmas comes in, 4 days?
Yep.
Absolutely, man. We get to open up some presents.
There you go. Take care. That is Brendon Marotte back in the octagon at the Apex for Fight Night, UFC. All these numbers, 242, we're at 306, we're at, stop and think that we're at 550, 580 some UFC events.
Yeah,
and I don't want to lie and say I remember UFC 1, but I covered.
But you remember UFC 1.
Well, I remember that I was involved with UFC 1.
Right.
Long time ago, and they've come a long way. All right, let's go hit our final break of the afternoon, coming to you live from the Cool Breeze AC broadcast facility. This is Knockout Radio, brought to you by 8 Man Strong, Staff Zone, and Bucked Up Energy Drink. We'll be right back.
All my guests today were all really cool. All of them.
Hey, this is Danny Sheridan from USA Today, and you're talking sports with, I hate to say this, with Randy Harris.
8 Man Strong is not simply about the biggest or strongest. It's about those who have survived true lows, suffered, faced demons real or in their heads, and are fighting to come back against it all. If you live with a passion for greatness and strength and resilience,
the veterans
all
are
obstacles
rolling their eyes
may
if they got to
attempt
talk to the
derail you.
media, and
If
then
you're
they
bold
rookie
and
club they've
aggressive
been doing the
in
same
pursuit
thing.
of the things you want in life, if you're
But
meant
it's
to overcome
also,
everything that stands in
I
your path
believe,
of
the
reaching your
style
goals,
of what you
you
do.
are 8 Man Strong.
You're hungry. Where do you go to eat? First,
Nobby
Sports Bar and Grill. You want to have a drink? Where do you go?
Because
First,
a lot of them
Sports
are
Bar
like,
and Grill.
not just
Having
us,
a get-together
you
with
know,
guys from the
and
softball team.
Nobby's
Where do you do
always
it?
like,
That's right.
trust
First,
me on
Sports
this,
Bar and Grill.
you're gonna love
Located
it.
at 1520 Central Avenue,
She told
St.
me that some of
Petersburg,
them
right
come
across
to
from
him,
Tropicana
and I even
Field.
now
First
said,
place
if you
to
don't
take the
believe me,
whole
go to
family
Nobby.
for food and fun.
When I
Going to a
offer
race game,
the
have dinner
fishing
before
or the
the game at
hotel or
Berg. When the race
they're like,
wins,
"Is
come
this
and celebrate
serious?"
with all your
And
friends
Nobby's
at
like, "You wouldn't
Berg,
say it.
right across
You
from the
didn't mean
trop. So come down to Berg.
And
The
then
whole
I would
gang
say
at
when they
Berg
question it
Sports
on
Bar
the
and
air,
Grill.
like,
Berg
just,
Sports
it'll
Bar
happen
and
next
Grill.
week. I'm like,
Rhino
"That's
Cards,
what
located at
You
406
get the
East
town, I
11th
get you
Avenue
a
North
hotel,
in
I
St.
get you
Petersburg,
Disney,
is
I
your
mean,
one-stop collection
and
facility
we're not
specializing
talking
in all
X's and
sports,
O's. We're not
Pokemon, Star Wars,
for new
and of
ones.
course, Knockout Radio's
all the
favorite,
time
the
to do that.
UFC cards.
You know,
If
I
you're
just wanna
looking to
talk.
purchase
Right.
or
My
trade,
wife
then
wants me to
Rhino
comment on
Cards
how
is
much
the
she
place for
didn't
you.
like the show,
Details
and
are
I've
coming
always
on
said,
some
"I don't
very
care."
awesome
But why?
UFC card
She's like,
giveaways,
like
thanks
you
to
two
Rhino
sit on a bar
Cards as
stool
well. That's
talking.
Rhino Cards, conveniently located in St.
You
Petersburg
want to hear
on
X3
4th
tune
Street
into all
and
these other
11th
guys
Avenue
that are
North.
some Kimura's and
Ready to
Unbars
take
and
charge of
could
your
you
day?
do the,
Bucked Up energy drinks are taking over the energy drink market.
I mean,
Find them
there's
at
a reason
Walmart,
why
Publix,
something
G and Vitamin
close to
Shop.
the sports is the
Real
number
energy
one
and real
almost
focus. Get bucked up.
Conveniently located in Pinellas
we're
Park,
limited
Cool
because
Breeze
we're on
AC
FCC
is just
radio.
one phone
Yeah.
call away.
Like
Reach them
the
at
other day, I mean, just earlier when you said
727-954
3605,
and their highly skilled and knowledgeable technicians will be at your service 24/7, ensuring your ultimate comfort all year round.
Construction companies always face hiring challenges. Do you need temporary help on your project? Or maybe you want a true partner for all of your staffing needs? Staff Zone is construction staffing excellence, providing both skilled and general labor positions. And we want to work for you. For all of your construction staffing needs, call us at 877-247-ZONE or visit us online at thestaffzone.com to find your local branch. Our staffing professionals are eager and ready to earn your business. That's 877-247-ZONE.
Hey everybody, it's Big Mike Gal of ESPN and ABC. Hey, let me tell you something. You're talking sports with Randy Harris, baby. You better listen. He's awesome with a capital A.
You know, we haven't talked about
a lot of things,
but we haven't talked about my great event on Sunday where I went to the Rays game.
Yep.
And I was one of 14 people at the arena.
In the full building.
In the full building. Wow.
It's a shame that you missed the funniest part of the whole day.
Which was?
You know, you got there a little bit later, and Steve didn't see it either. So I was the first one in the suite, along with Wes. And the representative came over. We started to talk and talked about my credentials and whatever. And I had him go from, he turned that smile upside down when we talked about, and I'm going to show into the camera, the Fred McGriff bobblehead that was given away. And you should have seen his face drop when I said, I disagree with Fred McGriff going in the Rays Hall of Fame. So I'm surprised that we were in there long enough to be loud and obnoxious.
It's good because I needed those chicken fingers pretty badly. Well, that's what I was going to mention earlier when Matt brought up the hot dog eating competition last night on Netflix. I was like, I haven't had a hot dog. Oh, wait a second. I had two on Sunday.
Yeah.
I had to get the Rays game.
All right, so it was your first experience in the Trop.
I don't understand why. Well, I guess I do understand. St. Pete is really not a baseball capital.
I don't necessarily think it's that, but it's a lot of things. All right, first, and I would have thought, how long have you been in the Tampa Bay area?
3 years.
Okay, so I would have thought in 3 years you would have known by now, Tampa hates St. Pete. St. Pete hates Tampa. Tampa, yes, some people from Tampa come over, but a whole, Tampa doesn't want to support St. Pete. Oh, if you move to Tampa, we'll come to the game. And the St. Pete residents that have been, the other 14 that were there, they're like, I won't go to Tampa and support them. I've been supporting them here. It's hated so much. Tampa people, well, it's in the ass to get to the stadium.
It is.
It is. No, of course it is.
Yeah.
Do you know what a pain in the ass it is to get to Tampa Stadium?
Yeah.
Do you know what a pain in the ass it is to get to Emily Arena?
I do. Well, not for me because I just hop on
Right,
the trolley.
but I'm saying it's the same thing. It's everybody is concerned about themselves.
Yeah.
So,
well, isn't that okay?
That's life.
Yeah, it's life.
No, I understand that, but maybe there's one sports team in St. Pete. St. Pete supports the Bucks.
But St. Pete also doesn't have the commerce that Tampa has. So when you're talking about, like, say, a cosmopolitan, a city, they can, you know, in New York.
I understand what you're saying.
If the New York Yankees played in they wouldn't get as many fans.
Why do the Giants play there?
Yeah, the Giants play there. The Jets play there.
Because there's no place to put a football stadium
Okay.
in New York City.
Okay.
But you know,
But there is a place to put a baseball stadium in Tampa. That's
in lobby.
This is what I'm gonna.
I don't like the Rays at all. So I'm not lobbying for them to go anywhere.
All right, I'm going to put it in this scenario. I saw, that's true, we do absolutely no research and we do not fact check it.
That's a fact.
I saw something that said the Detroit Tigers and the Lions, really talking Lions, and I said Tigers and screwed up. The Detroit Lions are the highest, most expensive ticket this season.
Okay.
Because they're good. But what about the last 30 years that you stunk and that
all those people
went, right? So it sucks. So it would be very similar, but it would be very similar, especially because the two cities hate each other. Even though it hasn't been a huge attendance, at least they've had crowds for however many years they've been there. And now, all of a sudden, you want to go to Tampa? And St. Pete's like, F you. No, I'm not interested. And so,
but it's not up to St. Pete.
No, it is up to St. Pete.
Well, it's up to the Rays organization.
Yes and no.
You mean
Right.
okay?
See, there's contracts.
Yeah. Okay.
and there was contracts, I don't know all of what was in it, but that didn't allow them to go over to Tampa.
Right.
And then once they started to talk, I was told, again, no fact check, it was a former city congressman, that said that there was a line in the contract that said if they were ever given permission to speak to another town, another city, whatever, it voids the contract. Okay?
Okay.
Which means they could have left and gone anywhere. And so a lot of people are like, well, why aren't they going to Tampa? Because they couldn't. Because if St. Offered or said, this is just what I was told, just for legal reasons, this isn't making stuff up on the fly, if they would have said, yeah, go, if we can go to Tampa, sure, well, then that would have avoided it, and they could have left and gone to Toronto. They could have gone to Montreal. They could have just gone up and contract there. So they're not leaving.
Well, then why has there been so much talk about the Rays moving to Tampa? We had this whole thing in Ybor City, where I live, where they got rid of a bunch of housing projects. They were going to tear them all down in the stadium right off of Ybor City.
Yeah.
And it was like something that was talked about as soon as I moved down here. Like, wait until the Rays come here. It's gonna change everything for Ybor. It wasn't like I'm making this up. It was like,
right.
But if that's the case, then why, if Tampa knows
Smokes and mirrors. Smokes and mirrors. And maybe they thought that they could convince. It's all about, pressure and who you know and how can you do and is there enough money? Money walks, BS walks, all that kind of stuff.
Well, not necessarily. That's not what you're saying. You're saying there's a contract.
Well, but if you paid the city of St. Pete X, I'm just saying there's always loopholes. The loophole, maybe you pay the city of St. Pete X with the contract to make it them willing to get rid of that white elephant that's down there on Central Avenue that most people hate.
Yeah,
now, you didn't go down and sit in the seats. The seats are not necessarily angled towards home.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
So if you're sitting in right field, you're looking at the right fielder.
Yeah.
And then you got to turn and not looking in the ear hole of the person. Well, I'm sorry, there is nobody sitting next to you. If somebody was sitting.
I will say the food was great. I had no complaints
You
about
weren't
the food.
in the bleachers, man.
Your expectations are really low.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was really good. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I really eat finger food a lot, and I thought, ow, that hurt. I thought it was
Funny bone.
Oh.
What you get for being funny? It's the funny bone.
Ouch.
Oh.
I think it's this felt thing. You didn't take the pins out of it.
The producer does all of that. I tried to help and I got yelled at because I didn't put the banner in the right spot. Next week, just for everybody to know, Matt and Mike will be coming to you live from the WTAN studio. And Steve and I will be coming to you from the couches at the Apex.
That's right.
In Las Vegas.
Very exciting.
They moved us to this really cool room. It's right by the stairs. Right next to us, they're doing UFC media stuff, so we're able to grab. And I don't know if you remember, I told you the story what happened last time we were there.
No.
So we were talking about Daniel. Some negative, some positive.
Oh, and he came in, yeah.
And he came in, and Steve's like, he's been standing there the whole time listening. So they're all right there. So we our list yet. We also don't know who might walk by and we'll put on. But what my thoughts are, which is different than normal, now that we have a professional here while I'm gone. You and Michael, or you and Matt will be doing the show. I'll pop in here and there, and then later that I'll do some stuff. And yeah, so it should be fun and less work for me. So both is kind of cool.
Yeah, sounds good.
You get to control Matt for 3 hours.
Well, as Big Ed's in the studio, because last time we were over there, Big Ed was MIA, and I couldn't even get the Wi-Fi password. So Big Ed,
I'm not sure Big Ed's going to be there, but maybe you can put out I don't know, a smoke signal.
It was that guy's first day.
Bring him some Buck energy drinks because he likes those. Luckily, they're a sponsor, so maybe if I don't know what his favorite flavor is, or I would call and try to get him out there in time. But next week's going to be cool. It's a long-ass walk from parking to the Sphere. It's kind of like, where was I just at where there was no parking?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Everywhere. It was literally, I don't know, a mile walk from where we parked to get to the Sphere. There's no parking right there.
That's why there's this thing, there's a new invention called Uber.
Yeah. Okay.
You might as well Uber, then you have to walk a mile.
Well, but see, first of all, and it's not that it costs money, even as part of it, but it's not all of it. You'll walk there faster than riding in an Uber.
That's right. It's got to be an hour and a half ahead of time.
And if you don't know me by now, I'm not a patient, you know.
Mr. Okay, I'm out of here. Let's go.
No, that I normally don't. I don't say that. I said, all right, I'm out of here.
Bro, okay, yeah.
I don't make anybody leave with me except for when we're with a celebrity. I make Matt leave when I leave, and that is going to be in writing moving forward.
Well, I don't think it matters what you put in writing.
With Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. But yeah, this week it'll be good watching, and then next week, the Sphere event. What's your thoughts on them putting Canelo as fight T-Mobile, Mexican independence? Is this a jab at Dana?
It is.
Or is this just, hey, it's Mexican independence? And
It's a jab at Dana. But Dana's done it to the boxing world too. So, they just go back. By the way, you have to create a market for your stuff. So a boxing match on the same weekend as a UFC match, it's great for business. Everybody gets like, what are you more excited to watch? Like if Canelo was fighting just on a regular weekend, nobody really cares. But now they're talking about, well, it's going to be the big Sphere show during that fight, and here we are talking about it. But
well, then we'll stop.
I don't listen. A boxing match outside of it, stupid Jake Paul stunt events in a long time. I mean, I guess bare knuckle is still boxing. However, it's not the sweet science of boxing like the sweet science is.
Science to it.
Right.
Are you a boxing guy?
I used to be. Last live fight I went to was Holyfield versus Bobby Chaz. Wow.
I can't even
94?
name boxers.
94.
Like back in the day, Hitman Hearn, Sugar Ray Leonard,
Yeah.
All those names. Mosley, obviously Mayweather. I don't know if I could name, other than I just named Canelo.
Leon Spinks. Mike, there's so many great fighters back then.
Tyrone Booze. Do you know who that is?
Yeah. Vito Antuofermo.
Well, hold on. Let's go back to T. How do you know about Tyrone
Because
Booze?
you talked about him.
talked about him
all
all
the
the time.
time.
I couldn't hear you because our producer was right.
Well, we were in stereo. We said the same thing.
No, I get excited when people even remember about Tyrone.
Well, because you
Told
bring him
the
up
story
once a
enough.
week.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, especially after you play, people need to continue talking about
Well,
it.
you know what? A very smart person once said to me, Mike, when I was complaining that people were hating on me on the internet and all this stuff.
It's a daily occurrence for me.
Yeah, every time you're on something, people are going to hate on you. I was doing my Spike TV show. I was getting this hate, and I was like, why am I getting so hate? And my friend said, Mike, if you want people to say nice things about you, die. And right.
That's true.
It doesn't matter how awful you
Right.
are as a person, but if you were famous, then as soon as that person dies, oh, he was such a great guy. No, everybody actually hated.
Right.
But no, when he dies, and oh, it's a shame. He's going to be missed. No, not.
Right, you didn't miss him when he was
Right.
here.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Well,
anyway.
unless you can turn, like I said, where you turn that frown into a smile, or you turn that smile upside down, or whatever. The biggest fan Knockout Radio has ever had, and probably will ever have, Shane Grossman, celebrated his 50th birthday. I flew up there for it, and they hated me so much at the beginning, all for the wrong reasons. Even though there's plenty of reasons, he hated me for all the wrong reasons.
So why did he hate you?
I've told this story numerous times.
Yeah, but I wanna hear it.
Thanks for tuning in. So Bubba the Love Sponge, who I've known for a long time, started a streaming service, at his studio in Tampa. And he asked if I'd be interested in running Knockout Radio on there. And so, yeah, another avenue to get it out. I get one guest, one fan or one person to listen. And it was still the same show that was on. Well, we went there for a while, and then we condensed it. So we did it at the Tan Studios, and then they took the stream and they reran it. And all of a sudden, Shane Gross, big fan of Bubba the Love Sponge, heard this MMA show. He loved MMA. He loved MMA. It's his passion. It's his this. It's his that. Who's this old fat dude that's now talking about MMA?
Well, that's not true.
That is true. That's what he said.
No, but I mean, you're not old and fat.
Well, I'm old and slimmer now.
I just did a math. Go ahead.
I'm 24 pounds. And he just thought I was an old guy who didn't know MMA, and all of a sudden jumping on the bandwagon. And then he would text something, or not text, tweet. Like I would say, in my opinion, John Jones is the GOAT.
Right.
And he's like, no crap, it's your opinion. You're the one that said it.
Right.
So he would always do these digs at me and stuff. And then I guess finally he saw the light. And he's like, well, he's still an old fat guy, but I guess he's been around a while. Yeah, UFC 1. I did a show in Cleveland at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he won tickets, and he went to it. And the PR person goes, oh, no, he's been around, and said 2 letters that I didn't know what meant. Dana White at the Super Bowl in Miami during the interview called me the OG. interview ends, I told Matt, you cannot talk to Dana. You cannot look at Dana. And then we went slap. I wished I would have said it then because that was the worst embarrassing thing ever. But Dana leaves. I go, what's OG mean? I mean,
Old guy.
Yeah, my wife says it means old guy. But so Shane kind of found that out, and we got great interviews and great guests and great this and great that, and I turned that hate into
being a gangster.
Yeah,
that's great.
I got on a plane and
story.
flew to Columbus and drove 200 miles to go to his house.
Well, I'm looking forward to meeting him. He looks like somebody I could have a couple beers with.
Looks like he's had a couple beers.
Love the guy to death. He'll be here in November. Shane and Eric are coming for my induction into the Florida MMA Hall of Fame. That's November 9th.
Are they going to Mark Coleman with them?
Oh, no, but maybe I will.
Now, how come I didn't get, say, Mark Coleman brought to my birthday party?
Because I didn't get invited to your birthday party. I got invited to Shane's, and I just didn't tell him I wasn't coming.
So the guy that hated you the most on the planet loves you the most now on the planet and invited you to his 50th birthday party. Probably knowing
knowing I wouldn't come.
No, that you know Mark Coleman.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, whatever. Whatever. All right. Hey, good show, fellas. Good stuff, especially the last hour. First two was good. The last hour was fantastic. Everybody, thank you, our guests. Brought to you by 8 Man Strong, Staff Zone, and Bucked Up Energy Drink. Don't forget, get your NFL picks in before tomorrow night's game. One pick, one team. Who is going to win week 1? That's all you need to do.
Right here in the comments.
Right there in the comments. See everybody next week.
With Ken Shamrock.
With Ken Shamrock.
Awesome. See, I love that last hour. Just like sometimes I'm like, oh my God, we have a whole hour left, and there's like nothing, like guess whatever, and then like,
well, when you have the guess, it's so much.
Yeah, it's so much easier.
So
we're still live. Hold on a second.
Good. Because I got to say.